Paldea Evolved is almost here and we know all the cards in the set. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon and here we play Jank. And so I'm going to be going through all the cards in the set of Paldea Evolved, the next set of the Pokemon TCG. One card at a time, maybe, or multiple cards at a time. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to be going one type per day. So today is grass Pokemon, tomorrow will be fire, the next day will be water, so on and so forth. I decided to break it up this way, that way it was easier to reference back and find exactly what you're looking for. So, let's get started, right? I am using the amazing website, Justin Basil's Pokemon list translations, using their site. I thought their site had the best art and translation combination that I saw. This is using the Japanese card art along with a translation of that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the full set. So let's go ahead, jump into it with looking at the first card of the set, Hoppip. Now, Hoppip is not too exciting. It's an evolving basic. For 1 grass energy, 10 damage, flip a coin. If heads, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done from the effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. So, gains immunity after dealing 10 damage. And that kind of plays into Skiploom's whole thing here, which is an evolving stage 1 from Hoppip. It has an ability, if any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. For a single grass energy, you do 30 damage, and you do 30 to one of your opponent's bench. I kind of like that spread, you know, being able to get damage out on the field could be a lot of fun. And then it can evolve into Jumpluff, the final evolution here for Hoppip, with the same ability as Skiploom. If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. Real nice effect. And then we have that single grass energy attack, also very nice, 60 damage. This attack does 30 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So it's a little bit more damage, still doing the bench damage. I like all of that. However, I think the better way to get into Jumpluff is using the Rapid Strike Skiploom, where when you play an energy down on it, you can search your deck for a Jumpluff and evolve it immediately. It makes Jumpluff to be a little bit faster, and if I remember the text, it doesn't specify it has to be a Rapid Strike Jumpluff, just a Jumpluff. So you could evolve into this newer Jumpluff, and then you have that Drifting Dodge ability, and you evolved faster than you normally would, and I really like that combination. I think 60 damage is a little low for a stage 2, but with that Drifting Dodge ability, it kind of makes up for that. I still like the bench hitting damage. Still going to be an issue because you can't hit the Bidoof, but, you know, and Manaphy could block this, but it is a nice bonus. I'm not sure if I would build a full deck around it. It really depends if we have things that can increase Jumpluff's attack a little bit more. I think that's the one thing holding it back. But I do like that ability, and I like the old Skiploom that you can evolve into this new Jumpluff. Next up, we have Pineco. For very simple, an evolving basic, 2 grass energy, 30 damage. Nothing to get too excited about. We do have Fortress EX, though, that evolves from this Pineco with the ability Explosive Energy. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 5 basic grass energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. If you search your deck this way, this Pokemon is knocked out. You are giving your opponent 2 prizes, but you are searching out for 5 energy and attaching them however you want. I do have an idea for this. It involves a Alolan Executor. Might be a deck I'd build for the channel if I can get it working correctly. But I like the potential that Fortress EX has. I'm just worried about that giant downside of having to KO this 2 prize Pokemon to accelerate all that energy. It does have an attack for 2 grass energy, Guard Press, 120 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. Not bad. You know, resisting damage is generally a good thing, and if you do attack with Fortress EX, the resisting damage part for kind of gives you a buffer to where you have 300 HP rather than the 270. So that's kind of nice. Not much is hitting for 270, but being weak to being weak to fire, like all grass Pokemon, that might be an issue, especially with the next set looking to be a Charizard focused set. So let's keep going. We have Heracross, 2 grass energy, 50 damage. Not really anything to get too excited about. 3 energy, 110 damage. This attack damage isn't affected by resistance. I like going through resistance. It's a very annoying with a grass deck when you are fighting against a steel type deck because you are just hitting into resistance constantly and it gets really annoying, but I don't think 110 damage is worth it. I don't think that's going to be enough damage to really change much. We have Tropius next. For a single grass energy, you Leaf Drain 20 damage, heal 20 from this Pokemon. Not bad. I do like attacks where you heal as much damage as you do, but I prefer that text of heal as much damage as you do rather than just the straight heal 20. Because when it's just a hard number like that, boosting your attack is not going to boost your heal. So sure, you're healing a little bit, but if you could heal more and do more damage, that would be a winning combination in my opinion. Sadly, Tropius, I just don't know. Even with the 3 energy attack, Tropical Winds, 130 damage, move all energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Moving all that energy is quite frightening. I don't really love that idea, but it does save the energy in case Tropius is getting knocked out. But if you're putting 3 energy on a Tropius just to have it be knocked out and move that energy away, I'm questioning why you're using Tropius to begin with, you know? So let's just keep going. We got Combee here. Combee, single colorless, flip 2 coins, 10 damage for each coin. Or each heads. Not bad, but what we really want to look at is the Vespiquen. The Vespiquen, for a single colorless, double stab, flip 2 coins, 30 for each heads. Not a bad attack, but I really like the rapid command, 120 damage, shuffle a bench Combee, and all cards attached to it into your deck. You can't shuffle a Combee into your deck, this attack fails. We do have a new stadium coming, where you can just search for a basic Pokemon and put on your bench. That stadium mixed with this Vespiquen means you're most likely going to have a Combee at all times, which is awesome, and I really like that attack. Not sure if 120 is good enough. That's my one big issue here, especially since we don't have a tool like Choice Belt for EXs yet. If we had that, I would feel a lot more comfortable hitting 150 against most Pokemon, 120 against non-EX and non-V Pokemon, but if we could hit 150 against them, I would like Vespiquen so much more. But sadly, 120 I'm not sure is enough. I'm going to play around with it for sure because I like this idea of an attack, especially for a single energy, but you know, maybe there's something else there that I'm missing. Maybe there's an old Vespiquen that we could play with it, or an old Combee that makes it, you know, flow a lot better. I do think there is a Combee. I'm blanking on what that card does specifically. Alright, let's go ahead and check out Snover here. Snover, an evolving basic again, but having 90 HP is pretty big. For 2 energy, does 30 damage. Pretty simple there. So if we evolve into Abomasnow with 150 HP for a stage 1, pretty beefy. Ability, Catastrophic Freeze, Pokemon, both yours or opponent, can't be healed. Negating healing can really hurt some decks, but I don't think it's a popular enough strategy yet to justify a stage 1 ability, especially while we have that stadium in the field where you can just play, what is it, Dyna Hill Tree or something like that, play that down and no Pokemon can be healed from a stadium. Stadiums can be bounced, where a stage 1 is a lot hard to get rid of, but I'm not sure if playing this just for that effect is going to be worth it. You'd have to mix in some other Abomasnows, I think. Is it Abomasnow? I think Abomasnow has some single strike thing that it can do, but I'm blanking on it, and I just don't think it's good enough, you know? Let's go ahead. We are getting to the grass starter, true Paldea Pokemon now, so that's awesome. We got Sprigatito here with single energy attack, Gather Sunshine. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you attached them, ooh, I would be so excited. It's still not bad. We do have Gardenia's Vigor still in the format, where you can play that supporter, draw 2 cards, then attach up to 2 basic grass energies to one of your benched Pokemon. So it's a way to use this attack with a supporter to try to get things done, but that's a 2-turn thing. It's a lot to ask. I'm not in love with it. The other attack for 10 damage is fine. And we have another Sprigatito, 2 colorless, 30 damage. You don't want to be using double colorless for this, but if you have to, you're down to 10 damage. Still not the best thing in the world, but Sprigatito is not the star here. We want to get all the way up to Mascarata, so let's go ahead and jump into Florigata with the single grass energy. And I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these Pokemon names. I do apologize, but, you know, it is what it is. Single grass energy, Seed Bomb, 30 damage. 30 damage is pretty good, but on a stage 1, double colorless, Magic Whip, 50 damage. You may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. I prefer to be in control of the switching, but I do understand that would be very powerful. So the way that this would work is you do the 50 damage, then they switch. So, you know, even if you're knocking out the Pokemon, they would be putting up a new Pokemon anyways. I'm kind of iffy about it, but it's not terrible, you know? So let's go ahead, jump into the Mascarata EX that we have here. With the ability Magic Bouquet, you must discard a grass energy card from your hand. In order to use this ability during your turn, you may choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 3 damage counters on it. For a double colorless, you can Nail Scratch for 100 damage, plus if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack does 120 more. So that's 220 damage, plus whatever damage counters are already on them, let's say 3 because of your ability, you're looking at 250 damage. That's pretty good. One thing I like about this Mascarata EX is the fact that you are going to want to be like using the gusting cards to really maneuver your opponent's side. So I really like that idea. It is going to slow down your deck a little bit if you're playing Boss's Orders a lot to try to put those damage counters. So I do think Mascarata is a fantastic card. I think it's going to be a little difficult to use correctly, but at the same time, if you're dealing damage, this much damage, you're doing good. So yeah, Mascarata looks to be a awesome card. Again, grass typing, weak to fire. Ugh. I hate that. I hate how often grass is weak to fire. I get it, but at the same time, it's just such a huge counter. So here we have a pair of Tarantulas. Neither of them are really impressive to me. The single energy 10 damage during your opponent's next turn, the Pokemon can't retreat, is interesting, but for 50 HP rather than 60, I'm not sure if I would make that cut. The other one, 2 grass energy, 40 damage. On a basic that evolves, are you really going to put 2 grass energy on there? You really are going to just attach one, then evolve up and attach the second one. So, you know, not a big fan of these, but they're there if you need them. And then we can move on to the Spiderops here. I really like that art for Spiderops, first off. But we do have the 2 grass energy Entrainment Trap. There we go. Each player shuffles their active Pokemon and all cards attached to them into their deck. I believe there was a Noctowl at the beginning of the Sword and Shield era that had a similar attack that really messed up a lot of players. I'm not sure if Spiderops would do that again, but it is an interesting attack at the very least. I do like the 3 energy, 130 damage, but 3 energy is a lot to ask. For 130, you are KOing, you know, some stage 1s, but, you know, and the big Pokemon, you're 2-hit KOing, and if you're 2-hit KOing for 3 energy, that's going to be hard to get another one out with 3 energy to finish it off. And even then, you're not, like, you gotta use a choice belt to be KOing the big V-stars in the format. So, yeah, this Spiderops, the 2 energy attack might be useful. That's about all I can say about it. We got another double Pokemon here, Nimble, which the first one for 40 HP has the Bounce a Bite, flip a coin, if heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. I like that attack. It's a nice Hail Mary of like, I am not doing well. I can flip a coin and try to delay for a turn. I do like those attacks much more, especially on these evolving basics, much more than just dealing damage. Sometimes damage is what you need, don't get me wrong, but being able to delay a turn so you can find your evolution so you can get that KO is kind of a big deal. Alright, so let's see. They've also got a single energy 10 damage. Okay, the 50 HP Nimble here has a single energy thrust kick, 30 damage, flip a coin. If tails, this attack fails. So, single energy, flip a coin, 30 damage. It's not bad. I don't know if it's worth the 10 HP bump. Usually it is, but in this situation, I just really like the bounce a bit attack, that creates immunity, Low Kicks here, the evolution of Nimble, has a fantastic single energy attack that really messed me up at pre-released. Assault Kick, 30 plus damage if this Pokemon evolved from Nimble during your turn. This attack does 100 more damage, being 130 damage. With a choice belt, you're looking at 160. That's a pretty good number for a single energy stage 1 attack. My biggest issue with this is the fact that it only happens when you evolve up. So if your opponent escape ropes, bosses, something around Low Kicks, you gotta rely on the 2 energy 70 damage attack, which is just not nearly as good. Yeah, I love the first attack. If we still had Scoop Up Net, this would be so awesome. But without it, I just think Low Kicks is going to be okay. Nothing too great. We've got 2 Bramblin here. So the first one with 40 HP, single energy, ride the wind, 10 damage, flip a coin. If heads, switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Hit and run decks are a lot of fun. We haven't had one in a while. This is not going to make a hit and run deck, but it's nice to be able to protect your basics. Bramblin, the second one, single energy, blot, 10 damage, heal 10. Not bad, but if you're dealing in such small numbers, something's going wrong, You really need to accelerate a little bit faster, and that's where you really need to evolve up into Brambleghast here with the single energy, absorb, 30 damage, 30 healed. Okay. 3 energy, 80 damage during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon's attacks cost 2 more. That is an attack that can really mess you up. Now, the biggest issue I have with this attack is the fact that it is only 80 damage, but even then, if you KO the opponent's Pokemon, their next Pokemon is not going to have that suffering of the 2 colorless more. So, Brambleghast as a stage 1, 3 energy, you're looking to delay the game. Why are you delaying the game? That's a good question. I'm not sure if Brambleghast could really stand up to today's meta, but is a fun card nonetheless. If you play any alternative formats, I would look out for Brambleghast. It could do something really cool. Alright, so let's see. Relore? I just knew him as Roller. Relore is a single energy attack, Bug Bite, 10 damage. Nothing really to write home about. The next one, 50 HP, 2 energy, Ball Roll, flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. That's a good amount, actually. 50-50 on whether you do 30 at all, but I like it more than just doing 10. And you have 10 more HP. But this is an evolving Pokemon. It evolves into a Psychic type, and we are not looking at Psychic types today. So when we do look at Psychic types, we'll have a little bit more to say about this. But for now, I kind of like this second Relore better just because the potential is there to flip a lot of heads, you know? And sometimes it's just what you need to win. And then the final grass Pokemon that we're going to be looking at today is Wuchin EX. For 3 energy, Devouring Ivory. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize card your opponent has taken. I love that. Very much a comeback card. Every prize card your opponent has taken, you do 60 damage. If they've taken 5 prizes, you are looking at 300 damage to the bench. That is a lot to deal with. You could mix this with other abilities, other cards to, great effect to try to steal some bench KOs. The biggest issue is the fact that Manaphy is so prevalent. Everyone throws 1 copy of Manaphy into every deck they make, except me because I'm crazy. But most people throw 1 copy of Manaphy into the deck. And if they do that here, you're not Devouring Ivory, that's for sure. It can't even do 60 to the active for each prize card your opponent's taken. It is limited to hitting the bench only, which really hurts this effect. If it was anywhere on the field, I'd be a little bit more excited because at the very least you could hit the active. But for 4 energy, you can do 220 to the active, which is not bad, but you need a lot of grass energy here. A lot of grass energy. 4 energy is a lot. So how are you powering that up? That is a good question. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm sure if there's a will, there's a way, you know? So I'm sure there's a way to get this powered up. Gardenia's Vigor is definitely an option. A little slow, but it is an option if you need it. Anyways, that is all the grass Pokemon coming in Paldea Evolved, which is like a week and a half from this video going out. So I hope you liked this look, and I hope you will join us every day for quite a while. I think almost 2 weeks. As we go through all the Pokemon set, gives me an idea of what decks I should build, and hopefully it entertains you and informs you about what you could play and how you could play it. Lots of interesting grass Pokemon coming. The next set will have fire Pokemon because it focuses on Charizard. It's probably going to have some pretty good fire stuff. So if grass Pokemon were going to have a time to shine, this is it. Come on, grass Pokemon, do something. I love grass Pokemon. I absolutely love grass Pokemon. But in the TCG, they are given such a rough deal. All of them being weak to fire. So if you run into a single fire deck, you are just gone, you know. Some alternative weaknesses would really help some grass. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But yeah, so if you did enjoy this, like this video, and be sure to subscribe so you do see tomorrow's video and all the other videos I'll be doing about Paldea's Evolved. And join the Discord if you want to hang out with me, you know, chat a bit, talk about decks I'm building, and my videos or anything else you want to chat about. There's some really awesome people in there, and I love the small community that we are building, and you can be part of it. Absolutely appreciate it. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.